Welcome to the Code With Me videos for Chapter 5. In this first video, we'll be covering Activity 5.1, basically covering the aspects of an anchor element and what it looks like. If you haven't already, go ahead and open up brackets and open up a browser, along with the student data files, which hopefully you should have by now. Go ahead and take the Chapter 5 folder from the student data files and drag it into brackets to open it. This way, it'll be easier to access. You don't have to worry about going into each folder. Additionally, go ahead and go into the Chapter 5 folder, find the linking file, and find the index file, and load that into your browser. You can either do a Control or Command O and open it, or you can just drag it into the browser as well. Now, once you have the index file loaded in your browser, notice that the items at the very top, Home, Guitars, Downloads, and More, are not doing anything. They're basically just text. Well, we are going to change that with this activity. So in brackets, go ahead and open up the linking folder and open up the index.html file. All right, first thing is we want to look at the left of the word home on line 10. Line 10 right here, home. All right, the first thing we're going to do is turn this into a link. As we discussed in the presentation, an anchor tag is required. So we're going to do the triangle bracket and A, because A is for anchor tag. And as we talked about before, in order to make this a workable link, we have to have the hyperlink reference, so href. This is an attribute, so we use the equal sign, double quotes, close it, and because we're good developers, let's go ahead and go to the other side of home and close the anchor tag. Now, we have not provided a value for the href yet, so we're going to go ahead and make that index.html because that is the primary page that we want the link to go to. If you are going to work with index pages, please do not make them default or home or main.html. I would say 99% of the time, always go with index.html. It makes things a whole lot easier for everyone. All right, so we've created home as a link. Let's go ahead and copy this for a few more times just to make sure that we work the same thing with guitars, downloads, and more. So using the same concept, let's first save, go to our browser, refresh, and now we have a link. In this case, it is automatically colored and has the underline with it, which means that it is a link. We're going to check it in just a minute, but let's go back to the code and finish up our linking. So for guitars, we have anchor tag, hyperlink reference, value. At this point, it's blank. In the value, we're going to make it guitars, as in just spell it right, GUITRS.html. Good. Save, refresh. And we have a guitars link. Good. Let's continue the process. Anchor tag, href. And if you want, you can go ahead and fill in the value. It's perfectly fine. You don't have to go back and do it. I was just showing you an example. Downloads.html. Close it. Anchor tag, href. More.html. And close the anchor tag. All right. So we're going to save this. File and save, or Command or Control S, back to the browser, refresh, and now each of our words is a link. You notice that default, instead of having the cursor shaped like a big I, now we have the cursor shaped like a pointer hand. That means that we have a link. Additionally, if you take a look, once we hover over the downloads or the guitars link, in the bottom left hand side, as in down here, you notice that it shows you where this will go. In this case, the downloads will go to the download.html. This is the absolute link that the browser is processing, even though our code up here just says downloads.html. Mainly because the browser has to know where this file is going to be located, and it's just filling the blanks for us. So we have our home. Home goes to index. Guitars goes to guitars.html. Downloads goes to downloads.html. And more goes to more.html. Okay, well the good thing is we are done with navigation, but we have a small problem. If we go to any of these other pages, we click on them, we notice that we can't go anywhere else because the moment we change the page, well, the text has changed back to a text. So we need to update this on every single page. So for the index page right here, let's go ahead and go to line 10. You can triple click to highlight the whole line, or you can just select it all. We do edit, copy, open up the downloads page, go to line 10, highlight it all, and paste. You can use keyboard shortcuts if you want, it's perfectly fine. Alright, save this, go to guitars, highlight line 10, paste, file save, and once more in the more page. There we go, and save. So now, once you go back to the browser, you refresh, you notice that we now have links. Well, let's check all the pages just to make sure we're doing things the right way. Click Downloads. We're on the Downloads page. We can still move. Go to More. We're in the Future Projects, and we still have links. Let's go back to Home, and we are back at the index page. Good. All right. So we've tested everything. We've made sure that the links go to the appropriate place, they go to the right locations, and we know how to set up an anchor tag. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we'll be covering activities 2, 3, and 4, talking about more identifiable actions when it comes to the anchor tag. If you have any questions, please let me know and I'll get back to you the best way I know how.